Yo everybody, what's going on? Genesis here, coming at you with some Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. I know, right? Pretty unexpected, but hey, I upload some replays. You guys were very interested in the deck list, so I was like, yo, let's get a video out of it. So, I want to keep this kind of short. I feel like the video is going to be very long because we got not one but two decks to go over. So without further ado, let's get into what I have got to say is probably the most budget friendly deck in the entire game. Alright guys, so this is it. This is my free to play budget friendly Unchained deck. With this deck list, I was able to climb up all the way to Platinum 4 from Rookie. The deck is really good. I love the archetype. So if you're looking for something that's very cheap, that can get you up there pretty easily, Unchained's where you guys want to go. We're gonna go over the cards very quickly here. I'm sure you guys are very familiar with a lot of them already, and then we'll get over into our not so budget friendly version. So we are running the Tri-Brigade engine along with our Unchaineds. So we're running 2 copies of Nerval. So when you send to the graveyard, you get to add another Tri-Brigade to your hand. We're running 3 copies of Karas, so you can discard one of your other Tri-Brigades, special summon him from your hand. We're running 1 copy of Kite. When Kite's sent to the graveyard, you can send another one of your Tri-Brigades to the graveyard along with it, including your spells and traps. And then we're running 3 copies of Fractale. You can discard Fractale from your hand, and then you can send another one of your Tri-Brigades. So generally, your basic play is going to be to send Fractale, send Kite, send Nerval to add Fractale or Karas, play them. All the Tri-Brigades have the special effect where you can banish other Tri-Brigades from your graveyard and then perform a link summon based on how many you send. That's why there's so much text that we didn't go over, but because they all have the same effect. Same with the Unchaineds too. All the Unchaineds, for the majority of them, say that when they are destroyed, you can special summon an Unchained monster. This goes double for the trap cards and spell cards as well. The only ones that have anything different on them will be Abomination and Disaster, but we'll cover that. So we're running the Unchained boys here. We got 3 copies of Aru. Probably your best Unchained, really. You can target 1 card on the field that you control, and you can destroy it, special summon this unit from your hand. When he's destroyed, you can special summon another Unchained. You can only use each effect of Aru once per turn. Next, we're running 3 copies of Rekka. She can destroy 1 card that you control as a quick effect. So kind of similar to Aru, except she's already got to be on the field. But the real key part of this is that you can use it during your opponent's turn. So if they go to banish one of your Unchaineds, you can pop it, or if they go to banish one of your spell or traps with Omen or something, you can pop it before it gets banished, get some value off it, and then they waste their effect. She's still probably the weaker Unchained unit. If you need to make room in the deck, you can definitely cut her down to 2. Next, we're running 3 copies of Sarama. Probably one of the better. I'd put it like second next to like Aru. The only downside is Sarama's got to have a Unchained in the graveyard to use her effect. So when this card's on the field, you can target 1 Unchained in your graveyard except itself and set that card on the field. Then you get to destroy 1 card you control. So generally, a lot of times what you can do is you can do Aru into, say, like your chamber or your escape, which will let you special summon another Unchained monster. So you choose Sarama. You can then target this card since you have an Unchained in your graveyard, set this trap card back down, and then you can pop off Aru instead, get that to summon it like a bomb or something. And that's probably one of your more basic openers that you're going to do with the deck a lot, really. Next, we're running 2 copies of Disaster. This card gains 300 attack for each Unchained in the graveyard. This isn't really something that you're going to matter too much. What you're really interested in is this juicy bottom part. So while he's on the field, you can activate each of these effects once per turn. You can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, and then immediately after this effect resolves, so you got to target them first. So you have to be careful in case they have effect failure or say Ash. You want to target, say, like their link or something, and then you can perform a link of your own. and immediately go into something like rage, or if you have enough of the anguish in that. Yeah, that's the main thing that I really like about this archetype, is you can eat your opponent's monsters to summon more of your own, which is really, really cool. And since you're destroying a lot of your own cards and stuff, they're also very sticky, since once they die, they get to come back. So, you know, they're hard to get rid of a lot of the time too. But yeah, mainly you're going to use Disaster just to eat your opponent's monsters. So generally, after they're done link summoning or whatever it may be, they're going to summon a whole bunch of guys. They hit your dudes. You can go into Disaster at the end of your chain. You can just loop your Unchained units back to back. This one, Aru gets destroyed, you can summon Rekka, and then Rekka gets destroyed, you get Sara, and then you can just end it with Disaster or a bomb. And then you just use Disaster on your turn to eat their guy, and then summon one of your own. And a lot of the times, generally, if you do that, they have no protection. It's a GG at that point, because you will have eaten their biggest guy, right? Or at least you should be. Next, we're running 2 copies of Abomination Unchained Soul. If you need to make some room, you can cut this down to 1. I prefer 2 in the deck, just in case I blow through my first one, because you know, you can summon any of your Unchained monsters off of any of your other Unchained monsters. So instead of going to Disaster at the end, a lot of time, if say your opponent attacks you into like Aru, you can just summon a bomb, literally discard a card. Since when this unit is special summoned, you can discard a card from your hand to destroy 1 card on the field. So if you got Nerval, he's a great target for that. And then you just pop a card. So right in the middle of their battle phase, they're busy taking out your guys, you summon a bomb, you pop their dude off, and suddenly they're not attacking you anymore. And you get a 3000 beater on the field. But let's not also forget his secondary effect. So if one of your cards is destroyed, you can special summon him from your hand. That's it. So when you use Aru and you pop off your escape, suddenly you can also summon him as well. So suddenly now you have Sarama, you have Abominable on the field. You can start popping off some cards. You can link someone up into Rage, and that it's some good stuff, boys. It's some good stuff. His last effect though, and another reason why I like run 2, is that when he is destroyed during that end phase, he can come back to the graveyard, which will proc off his effect, where if you special summon, boom, you get to discard another card, pop something else. I love the dude. I think he's great. But I definitely wouldn't run more than 2. You can cut him back if you need some space though. We're running 3 copies of Dark Hole, because why not? Even if you blow up your own monsters, you just get to summon more, since the whole point of the Unchains anyway. So really, you don't get hurt by this card, and it's great to bait out other effects as well. Next, we're gonna do 1 copy Regeki. This card's given to you. Literally, why wouldn't you run it? It's Regeki, right? Harpy's Feather Duster, because why not? It's Harpy's Feather Duster. You get to just blow up your opponent's back row. Very important now, since you got to deal with like strikers and Eldritch. All right, and then next up, we're running 1 copy of Monster Reborn. It's Monster Reborn, why wouldn't we? 3 copies of Abomination's Prison. This is your main fetch cards for your Unchained. Lets you add any of the Unchains from your hand to your deck. If it's set and destroyed, you can special summon 1 Unchained from your deck to the field. All the Unchained spells and traps share this effect, just like how the monsters can all special summon themselves. All the spells and traps can summon monsters if they're set and destroyed, which is really cool. It's a good way to bait out some stuff and give you some extra guys on the field, especially when your opponent's trying to clear off your back row on that. You just keep these set, make them wonder, they pop it off, you get a free guy. We're running 2 copies of their continuous spell, Wailing of the Unchained Soul. When you perform a link summon, you can destroy 1 card on the field. You get to choose and pop it. It's really nice when doing like rage and stuff. I don't really use the card a whole lot, but it's nice to have when it does go off. If you can manage to get a couple of, go into rage, go into anguish, and get a couple of free pops. Next, we're running 1 copy of Torrential Tribute, just to help deal with board control, just like Dark Hole. We don't really suffer for it, so why not? We're running 3 copies of Escape to the Unchained, probably your best trap card. I know there's not a whole lot, but it's probably the best trap cards they got. Target 1 of your Unchained, target 1 card your opponent controls, pop them both. Since you're popping 1 of your own guys, it still gets a special summon, you get another dude off it, so you don't really suffer. And then if it's destroyed, obviously you get to special summon another unit. Then we're running 3 copies of Chamber of the Unchained. When this card is activated, you can special summon one Unchained from your hand or the graveyard, meaning you can get back your links, making it very good later on into the game. And then obviously, just like the other ones, if they're set and destroyed, you get a special summon another monster. Next is the extra deck. We are running 3 copies of Soul of Rage. When this unit is on the field and your opponent does a special summon, you can do a quick effect, and just like Disaster, as soon as it's resolved, you can perform a link summon using your opponent's monster, which a lot of time you're just going to go into Anguish. This is awesome. It puts fear into kids, so you can stop plays before they even begin. If you know what your opponent is trying to do, so that's where a lot of deck knowledge comes in. So a lot of you veteran players that have been up to date are really going to be able to capitalize on this guy and just shut decks down before they even start. Next, we're running the Trigrade Bearbrum. I don't really use this card a whole lot when I'm going through my duels and that. Even with the Tribrigades, I just pretty much just go for Omen because that's really all you need. He's there just in case. But you can discard 2 cards, then target one of your banished level 4 or lower beasts or winged beasts, so one of your Tribrigade guides, and special summon it. If it's set to the graveyard, you can add a Tribrigade Spell or Trap from your deck to your hand, place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. Yeah. I don't think I've used this card once yet. So, I mean, you can tech it out if you'd like to make a room. That's kind of the best part about this deck, is there's so much flexibility left in it that you can kind of go crazy with it. We're running 2 copies of Unchained Soul of Anguish. This is very similar to Rage, except the only difference is instead of doing it of linking up with your opponent's monster during their turn, you have to do it during your turn. So while he's on the field, you target one of your opponent's monsters and immediately perform a link summon using that monster and this monster as material. Pretty much this is how you're going to end up getting your Abomination out. If not, then you're gonna have to give up your own guys. But you know, a lot of the cards in the deck, like between Disaster and Rage and Anguish, allowing you to eat your units is just, it's such a cool mechanic. Next, we're running 2 copies of the Tribrigade Rugal. This is more of the Tribrigade. If we're gonna not go into Omen, we're gonna be going into Rugal. So he is during your opponent's main phase. I always forget that part, I really do. You can special summon one of your level 4 or lower beast or winged beast, one of your Tribrigade guys, from your hand or graveyard, negate its effects, but you know, you get another boy on the board. I always forget that part. It's very important to remember it's during your opponent's turn, because I always try to do it and then try to summon on my turn. But yeah, this is more if I'm gonna go into something that's not Omen, I'm gonna be going into him to try to get one of back my fractals. Maybe then try him, but yeah, this is used more for in the not friendly budget version. And then we're running our big Unchained boy, Abomination. This card's crazy. So when he's on the field, you can target a card on the field and destroy it. If one of your cards is destroyed, you can do this at the end of the turn, just for the turn ending. This includes your opponent's and yours, as well as when one of your Unchained destroys a monster in battle, you also get to pop one of the cards. So whatever background, whatever they had a set once Abomination come out, it's awesome. He just helps with so much board control and just popping things off. It's kind of insane. The one thing you do got to remember is that his end of phase effect is both yours and your opponent. I usually forget that sometimes, so you may see me skip it, and then I'm like, oh god. And then obviously our last link is going to be Omen. So when he's out, you can special summon him, and then you get to banish one of your opponent's monsters to help deal with some of those bigger wall monsters like Max and stuff that you just can't get through. Omen's your boy. He's gonna help clear the board. And he's really good for getting rid of some of those more key cards like glitches and stuff, and then it just gets him out of the game, right? But yeah, so this deck, as you guys can see, not going to cost you anything to make. If you need something to get up to platinum, here you go. This is it. But if you're looking for something more, you're looking for something that's a little bit beefier that can handle more of the meta, we have been changes of cards. It's time to show you the not so budget friendly version. All right, guys, so this is my not so budget friendly version of my Unchained deck. This is the kind of ramped up version that I've been trying out on ladder right now. So we'll touch base on the cards real quick, and then we'll get into the showcase there for you. So we're running, again, 2 copies of Nerval. We're running 3 copies of Maxi. This deck needs draw. Maxi is broken, so why wouldn't you? We're running 3 copies of Karas, 1 copy of Kite, 3 copies of Aru, 3 copies of Rekka, 3 copies of Sarama, and 3 copies of Fractale still. We're running 2 copies of Disaster and 2 copies of a bomb. You can cut this back, or you can cut back Rekka if you like. I just prefer to a bomb. We're running 2 copies of Dark Hole to deal with the board. 1 copy of Regeki, because why not? 1 copy of Harvey's Feather Duster. 3 copies of Prison still. We're running 1 copy of Lightning Storm. If I had more, I would probably run them. This card is really good for dealing with either back row or the field, since it's pretty much a go second card, and this way you're gonna go second. If not, it's a really good late game anyway too. If they've blown through most of your guys, say they got through your rage or anguish and stuff like that, they've procced your bomb to go back to the deck, and you've got no dudes, this can help even things out pretty quick. 2 copies of Wailing of the Unchained, just to, we get Link, we get Pops, it combos off of our Abomination as well. We're running 2 copies of Call of the Grave to help shut down Ash and Maxis that we run into. If we get ashed, our combos pretty much get stopped, which really hurts. And if they stop, if they go to do Maxi as well, we can special summon a lot, and we kind of want to. So, shutting that down is really nice too. We're running 3 copies of Escape of the Unchained. Again, I think it's one of the better trap cards. It helps deal with a lot of the other back row issues. So it is pretty much one of the only things we can do to help get rid of skill drain as well, which is something that really hurts the deck, since most of our guys need to target, so they need to be on the field to do their things. That can really shut you down, and so an Eldritch discard is really good, because we'll get a proc off, we can go into a bomb, pop like 2 cards off. So we're running 3 copies, and then I've chosen to cut back and run 2 copies of Chamber of the Unchained, just because it's more of a late game, plus we can use Sarama to reset it if we lose it, so it's not that bad. Sarama's really good at getting your traps and stuff back so that you can reuse them. Next is the extra deck. This has a ton of room. A lot of cards can get played with, a lot of cards can get moved around, so if your collection is a bit better than mine, please feel free to throw them in, right? But for me, for what we're doing, we're running 1 copy of Livier the Sea Dragon so that we can bring back our banished from our Tri Brigades. Again, still running 3 copies of Rage so that we can stop their special summons, eat their dudes, and get a new guy out of it as well. We've put in one of the Tri Brigades Baron Blossom, just for extra draw. That's really about it. It's a cheap Tri Brigade one, so that say you don't necessarily want to go into Omen right away, right? But this will allow you to get some extra draw too. Plus you can reuse it to get Omen anyway, so it's not that bad. If you end up drawing a Disaster, it's really good to go into this so that you can put Disaster back and then special summon it properly. So she's nice to help fix the hand a little bit. 1 copy of the Bear Brum. Again, like I said, the deck's got a lot of room. I think that this is probably one of the cards that you can tech out very easily and put something else in. So if you need to make some space, by all means. Same with Levier. I don't think I've used Levier once in this entire time that I've had run the deck. It's just to give you guys an idea. So that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of room in here. Running 2 copies of Anguish. Always going to run 2 copies of our boy here so that we can eat one of their monsters and get something bigger off of it. 2 copies of Rugal still, just to help special summon some more. Rugal's really good. Now we're running 2 copies of Abomination. I know a lot of people don't think that the 2 is quite necessary, but I'm telling you boys, you're gonna want to run 2. There's been a couple of times before I was able to get this copy where, had I got it, I could have had both of these boyos out at the same time. Plus, you want the chance to summon him back if he does get destroyed, since he's going to be a pretty big target, constantly popping off cards. Your opponent's going to want to deal with that. So having a second one, I think, is a really good idea. I would definitely recommend running 2. Next, we're running 2 copies of Omen. Again, same thing. When you're running 1 copy, they're oftentimes going to come up. You can get a second one. If this one does go to the drop, you can always use it to link up to the next one, so why not? And then our newest addition to the deck, which is Underworld Goddess. This has been a card that was recommended that we're trying out right now. This is pretty much your I'm done dealing with your field card kind of deal. So she takes 4 monsters to bring out. You can also use 1 monster that your opponent controls, hence another reason why we're putting this card into the deck. As you can tell, Disaster, Rage, Anguish, and now Goddess all eat your opponent's monsters, and then you can get to something else out of it. So it really helps get rid of some of those peskier monsters that are harder to target and get rid of. So when she does come on the field, she negates all effects that are face up, all effects that are active. The only things that can actually target her are ones that you don't actually target her, and then she'll be affected by them. Other than that, she doesn't really care. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a card effect, that card or effect that would special summon a monster from the graveyard, you just get to negate it. So not only does she come out to the field and shuts down everything that's going on, so if they got some big beefy dude out and you can't touch it, well, suddenly now you can. She doesn't care. She's awesome. We haven't really had too many opportunities to really get her out and do it. Most of the time, once we get Abomination Omen out, the opponent's like pretty much dead anyway, or we're gonna be dead, one of the two. Play around. If you got some other options, you can definitely cut her out. Don't feel like you absolutely have to run this, but I would recommend it just to kind of fit the theme, right? Some other cards that you might like to try out, obviously, I have tried oh, that's not it. Where to go here? Imperial Order. Oh my god, I always get it wrong. Imperial Order is another card you can tech in as well, since you really don't need your spell cards a whole lot. So you can set them, pop them off, and their effects will still activate while in the drop zone. So I feel Imperial Order is probably a nice tech choice you guys can throw in if you want to try that out. As well as if you want some more, you can try out with Torrential Tribute and stuff like that too. Let me know down below what you guys think of the deck. What cards would you add on? I'm sure there is plenty of ways to improve this deck. Like I said, your guys' card collection is probably a lot better than my own, so definitely let me know what you guys think, and together, you know, we might be able to make something really crazy here. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the showcase. If you guys want to see some more, don't forget to like, comment, and sub. And I'll catch you guys all later. I'm gonna let the showcase play out, and I'll catch you next time.